I'm TV people! So quick update. So what we're doing on this, so we're going to transform this ugly duckling into a magnificent swan, people. This is going to be a high-end finish. Quite a bit of progress since the last time I've come, so we've actually started chipping away some of the old render up there, as you can see. So we've not done too much, but that's one of the things that's been done. We've obviously cleared the site, so I'm sure if you look at the last video that I did, this was all overgrown and stuff. We're using this as a dumping ground at the minute. We've got a little bit of hardcore there, a bit of MOT, a bit of MOT. So MOT is basically your hard standing, so it's what we use to put on the floor underneath driveways, underneath patios, etc. This is just rubble and stuff that we've used to take out the house. And you're probably sitting there thinking, there's quite a bit of stuff there, isn't there, John? So as I pan around, you might start seeing why. Because we've removed the front of the house, or the back of the house, or whatever it was. This side of the house has now been completely removed, as you can see. And we've also put some brickwork in, which is what we call up to the splash course. So that's the damp course right there, or the damp course height. So as you can see, we've got a couple of lads working in the background there. Give them a tickle. So it's a bit of a strange setup because the house, either the front door's on the side or one of the sides, whichever side it was at the front, and obviously the opposite side is the back. So what we're trying to do on this one is we're going to try and turn the side into the front of the house, because behind me is the road, so we literally want this to be the front. So we're going to be putting a window up here to make it look like in the bedroom. We're going to be putting a window in the extension, a window downstairs in this part of the extension, and then here we're going to cut out the door and put a door with like an oak canopy. So to give you the vision, that's why we're doing it. So if I stand here and turn around, so what we've done is we've come out that far under permitted development, and we've actually got a certificate of lawfulness for doing this, so we're all above board to do it. We can now build up, and it's going to make like an oblong building become a bit more square, and that's the reason that we're doing it. So we're actually trying to convert the side of the house into the front of the house using permitted development and building control. So there's the vision. So now you understand what we're trying to do. And there's the single-storey extension that's coming out at the back. So we've got a 2-storey extension that's going to go up here, right the way to the top. And then here is a single-storey extension. It's got a big bifolds there. So we'll be removing all this brickwork here to make that open plan, because the idea is that we can look at the garden and then views at the back. So that's the vision. So we're actually squaring the house off by doing this extension here. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot. It's first thing in the morning, folks, and I've had a coffee. So the house will become square by going across there, and then at the back we've got this bit. Now it's a shame that we couldn't bring this down here, following it with my finger to here, and then going down to there. It's a shame we couldn't do that, but with permitted development you're not allowed. This is not allowed to touch that, because then we need planning permission. And this is currently in greenbelt land, which means you're not allowed to do, well, to get planning permission you can only increase roughly 30% of the volume of the house. Using permitted development rights you can get almost 50%, and I think for what you can get with what we've got, we've maximised it. And like I say, we have got certificates, we're doing it correctly. We're going to get quite a bit more with permitted development without planning, so it's going to be quite nice, this one is. So there's a little bit of a brief intro of what we're trying to achieve. So now I'll go into the bit more detail of where we are and what we're doing and why. So first things we've done is we've dug up with a digger there and put the strip footings in, which is basically the foundation or the concrete that this brickwork is sitting on. So if you're not too sure what that is, here's a picture now of what I mean. Shooting! So that's the strips that we call. So we've dug down 1 metre and mass filled it with concrete. Then we've put what we call trench block, which are these big blocks. We've got one over here, light blue Peter. So this is the method, folks, if anybody at home is trying to do one or an extension and want to do it themselves. So this bad boy here is a trench block. So it's similar makeup as a thermalite block. It's quite large in size, and it's even handy because you've got somewhere that you can get your hands in to lift it up. So they are quite heavy, and this is what they're designed for. So we use those because it's not seen, it's below ground, and they're quite hardy. So as we come down here, as you can see, that's the top of them, just along there. So we've literally done a course of them, then we've done 3 courses of brick, and that is to match in with the existing damp course of the house. So if you see here, you can see the black stuff there. So that's the damp course, that's the height of the damp course. We've now built this with a 6-inch cavity, so that can be mass filled with some dry firm, which is some insulation basically. And here's a picture of it now, folks. And that's to give it the thermal value that it needs, and that's with all the regulations now. We need to put quite a bit of insulation in there, and this is the cheapest way of doing it, is build it 6 inches wide, the cavity, and fill that with some dry firm, some insulation. That's your cheapest way, and the size from the outside the brick there to the inside will remain the same, because the old construction would be 4-inch, which means you're obviously 2 inches shorter where my finger is there. So again, the brick is 4-inch, so you can see it's bigger because you've got a gap. If we'd have done it with 4-inch, we'd have still had this brickwork here, but then what we would have had to have done on the inside is put some insulated plasterboard, so that would still take up the space. So what I'm saying is, overall, we've lost no space, but this is a cheaper way of construction. So that's a good builder's tip for you. It's cheaper to do a 6-inch cavity than it is to do a 4-inch cavity and to do insulated plasterboard on the inside. Like when we do a rip out and we start again, we really do a rip out and we really start again. So as you can see, all plaster's been removed from inside and out. The chimneys have been completely removed, as you can see, all the way up there. We haven't actually filled this in now, so all the health and safety buffs are going to be giving me grief now on Facebook and whatever else, the Facebook police, as I like to call them. The reason is we can't actually get up there yet because we've removed the stairs. So you can't get up there. When we put the stairs in, we will finish the top part off. But as of now, I don't see that's a major concern. So we've done a little bit of brickwork. We put some more brickwork and we've just got to fill it in, because what's actually happened there as we've taken this out, you can see where the original chimney was going up to there. So that's now single skin. So this house, with it being old, I'm going to guess it's 1920s, 1930s. This is what we call a solid wall. So for anybody out there that wants to know what a solid wall is, and I've spoken about this before, and these walls are generally the walls that start getting black mould on in winter, because you've got a solid wall construction. The solid wall is literally this. So this is the ideal shot to explain what a solid wall is. So from a distance, you just see the brickwork, but because we've got a chimney in there, it shows you its construction, and it's literally just 2 bricks thick with hardly any gap. Can you see that? So you've got outside brickwork, inside brickwork. So again, so you can understand it. So really, it's a solid wall. There's no gap between the two, which means it's acting as one because it's all touching. So it's what we call bridging. So all that wall, all the way around the house, is the same construction. So it's 2 bricks thick with hardly any gap. That's why when it's cold on the outside and warm on the inside, because there's no cavity, there's no distance or nothing to separate it, no air gap, that's why it's going to be prone to condensation. It acts just like your car windscreen when you get into your car. When you get up in the morning, it's cold, you put the heating on, so it's warm inside there. The outside is cold. There's nothing to separate the two together, like your glass on your windscreen. Therefore, it's going to act as one sort of big mass, and the cold is going to go to cold spots, and that's where you get your mold growth, so it condensates. That's why it does it. That's why now when we're building these houses, we build them with cavities, as you can see. So this is the new way of doing it. So we're doing old to new. So this is what's missing off there. So you can see this, how it's built. This is probably quite a good video to show this actually. So you've got a cavity, which means it's a brickwork, a space, and then some more brickwork, and therefore the cold can't get all the way through, and we're going to insulate the middle. So this will not get condensation. However, that will, because it's built the old way. So walking through again. There we go. So we've removed all the top. Go in here. So this is where the stairs were, because you can still see a little bit of plaster work down, but we've removed that so we can do a good job and put a new concrete floor in all the way through. As you see, everything's hacked out. I can't take you upstairs because, well, there are no stairs. So we've dug all the floors out, as you can see. And the lads are just at the back. We can obviously leave it all open at the minute because, well, there's nothing in here to steal. And it's just going to stop us from getting progress. So we're just cutting a bit of steel there to finish the floor off because the concrete's coming in a minute. So we've got some steels to change. So we've got some existing steel, which is here. So this needs changing because it needs to be made a couple 100 mil longer, so we can tie it into this part here. That's why we've got an acra there just holding it in, because it's not been done properly, to be fair. It's a bit of a bodge job. We put some drains in, ready for the toilet. And then we will be putting one big steel all the way across there to open this up, so it brings that room into this room. So that's going to be the front door in there. We're going to brick in this wall here. So this is going to be all bricked up. Cut a doorway out there. We're going to build another wall where the end of that is. So follow my hand with a tickling stick and bring it all the way along to this wall. So it's a corridor we've formed. So I'll be standing in one room here with a window behind me. Then the new extension is another room behind that, and that's going to be a corridor. So you're going to walk to the front door there, walk along here and through this wall, and you're going to come out there, which is going to be the stairs. So you're going to walk out where my finger is. So we're then going to have a door going into that room at the front. We've got the stairs here, the doorway that's behind me to that room, and I've got a doorway here which is going to become the laundry, or the utility room, or whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to have a downstairs toilet, which is where the drains are. So again, if you're getting lost, these are plans again. Shooting! And then the idea is that we come into the main room, which is going to be the kitchen diner. That wall will be all removed. We're going to bring that space there, so it's going to be like an L shape. So it's going to be the kitchen sort of in there. So it's like, again, I've come from this door behind me. I'm going to turn to my left. This P is coming out. This P is coming out. So it's all going to be open plan into there. And then also all this is coming out to go into there. So it's probably a little bit hard to understand now, but the idea is that this room that I'm standing in here, with that door there, sorry, that wall removed there, it's all going to be one room, and it's going to go right the way through into there. And there we go, look. All the lads are here early in the morning. Because I'm going to bring this up to the new regulations, we're putting the new concrete floor in everywhere. Rather than putting it in one place, we're going to go all the way through. So this entire ground floor is actually going to have underfloor heating all the way through. So to do a proper job, With underfloor heating, this is the method with underfloor heating, because you don't have to do it this way if you're not putting underfloor heating. This is the way that we're doing it with underfloor heating. So we've dug it all out, then we filled it with MOT, which is the stuff outside. So here's another picture. Shooting! So again, we've done MOT, sand, now we're doing DPM, which is just a big plastic membrane. There's a sand underneath, as you can see, what we call the blinding. So then what we have to do is put some of these boards, so they're literally 25mm thick insulating boards. Now that's to stop the thermal bridge, so when the concrete goes in, it goes up and touches this, it stops it from going through there, so it keeps it insulated and stops it from sweating and getting condensation on the actual slab. So it's called thermal bridging. And then as we get through here, so we've got sand underneath this, then we've got the DPM, which is just a big plastic everywhere. And then what we're doing here is putting some steel mesh. As you can see, the steel mesh is everywhere. There. The reason we put steel mesh in, so what do we put steel in? So we put steel in, one, for strength, so number one. Number two is it helps it to stop it from cracking, because when it's expanding and contracting, it's obviously holding it together basically, so it's a support for that. So it does two things. So because of the area that we're covering, because it's quite a large plot, what we've decided to do is we've got what's called a concrete pump, which means the concrete mixer comes, he'll literally come here on the site. This is why a good site is always nice. And what he'll do is he'll back up here and he'll put his chute into here. So this is the pump. So he'll feed all the concrete into there. This will then pump it out along here and into where we want it, which means we can then start at the back and work our way out by just moving and carrying the hose. So I'll show you that in action in a minute. But that's what this machine is for. So again, little trick for you to save time, concrete pump. So the alternative to this, I could have got a wagon to just come there and pour it, but it would have been poured in one place, which means we would have had to got a load of wheelbarrows and a load of men to stand there and keep on carrying it. So it would have taken, one, it taken longer, so it costs more money, and two, it would have taken quite a few men to do so, therefore the increased costs and time isn't worth it. So obviously we're on a time frame here, so the price of one of these isn't that much, and it'll be done in like less than an hour. And as promised, in action, got a cement mixer, dropping it into the pump, and that's pumping it out of here along there to where we need it. Like I say, this is a labour saving device, gets better finish as well, and it saves people's backs. And there we go folks, that's it, and that will be pushed through all the way through. So as you can see, with the pipe and the pump, we can literally put it where we want it as opposed to having to barrow it. So it's a really good tip for speed and saving money. That's it for this video folks, see you later. Mwah.